Hi everyone, welcome to our new show, Celebrity Corner, the Zoom edition. I'm Maryo Labad, your host, and after 3 months of constant meetings and brainstormings, I'm finally back on FB Live. But this time with a new show, a new title, and a new producer and production people. And this early, I would like to thank our producer, Secretary Bernie Cruz of the Department of Agrarian Reform, and also to our director, Kiko Soto, and his assistant. Anyway, as I have said in the past, this is the hub where beautiful people meet and share their thoughts because every story matters and every story must be heard. Tonight, our guest is known to be a woman of substance and a staunch advocate of a healthy lifestyle and the Earth Day celebration, which we held a few days ago. And with this background, our conversation will revolve around three topics: health and wellness vis-a-vis the pandemic, a touch of politics since national elections is just a few weeks away, and since it is a pageant season, we will also touch pageantry and Mutya Pilipinas. Friends, please welcome the former National Director of Miss World Philippines, who gave us our first and only crowned Miss World, Miss Megan Yang, a newspaper columnist, the best-selling author of the book series Forever Young, a radio, TV, and digital platform host, the granddaughter of the former President Elpidio Quirino, and the present National Director of Mutya Pilipinas, the health and wellness guru, the beautiful Miss Cory Quirino.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Hope everybody is safe and well and healthy. And hi, Mario. Thank you for inviting me to your
Of course,
brilliant
anytime,
show.
anytime. Only Miss Cory Quirino can do this to me. Anyway, how are
I know
you?
to Mario.
Yes.
One call from Mario, the answer is yes.
Only the scheduling is the main problem because of your busy schedule.
I remember, Mario, how we
Yes.
first started Miss World
Of
Philippines.
course, we
I
travel
called
around
you
the
and
country.
Angel, and
Yeah,
I said,
yeah, Anjo is
come
in,
on,
Anjo is
help
in
me.
Vietnam right now, I
Oh,
guess.
he is. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
because
that's good.
because of, because Miss Vietnam is choosing their candidates for the Miss Universe, Miss World, and Miss Earth.
Oh,
And there was a tribute given to him lately. I saw it on FB.
oh, I'm so happy for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. And I cried when I saw it. Now, before we go on, I would like to thank you for gracing our show. I know you are a very busy woman in spite of the pandemic and the virus just lurking around us. As I have mentioned earlier, our chit chat will revolve around topics dearest to your heart: health and wellness in the midst of the pandemic, a little of politics since you're the granddaughter of a president, and lastly, your passion for discovering the next hometown girl as a beauty queen and to be crowned the next Mutya Pilipinas. Okay?
I'm
Now,
ready.
okay, Miss Course, first things first, how are you adjusting to this new so-called new normal way of life?
I have been thinking about the words new normal.
Mhm.
And even if we have to adjust to the existence of a virus, I feel that we are probably more vigilant now about being sick and about being healthy and about taking better care of ourselves. We are more careful now and more conscious of that. But the word new normal for me is something I cannot accept because I do not think that we should adjust to a new normal. I think we have to determine for ourselves what our normal is going to be, and
Mhm.
not to be dictated by other people to say that this is going to be the new normal. Because look at the Philippines now. Our cases are down while the rest of the world is battling with their other cases, are
And there's
rising
a
cases.
surge in China right
Exactly.
now.
Exactly. And yet we are doing all right. So they say probably that we have already reached herd immunity, and that's good thanks to the Omicron. And if we can keep it up, our lives will be back to normal and not to the new normal.
Mhm.
I think that now what we see outside, people are sick and tired of being quarantined in their homes or having their liberties restricted, and that are ready to face life and live with the risks of a virus or a new virus that might come along the way. And we are ready to face that challenge by taking better care of ourselves and being better prepared emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically for any kind of challenge that might come. So, yes, new normal, probably for other people, but if we think just the normal way of life for all of us, and I think we can move on with our lives without much trauma. We should leave that trauma behind because let's face it, we have been exposed not just to the virus, which has affected the whole world, but also to the virus of fear, the virus of oppression, the virus of deprivation, the virus of poverty for many people, the virus of so many national disasters that are coming our way. And finally, the virus of war and
Yes,
violence,
exactly.
which is facing the world again
Yeah, I
this
will
time.
ask you about that later.
Right.
Continue.
So I'm saying that the virus can take on any kind of form or shape,
Mhm,
but we should just be prepared together as a people, not just the
mhm.
Philippines, but the rest of the world.
Yes, exactly. Now, Miss Kors, what was the hardest decision you made during the pandemic, and how did it affect your loved ones with such big decision?
You know, they say you should flatten the fear, not the curve of the COVID cases. We should not flatten the fear,
Yes.
not the curve. But we have
Mhm,
already flattened the curve. But
mm,
have we flattened our fear? I have to be honest with you. When that lockdown was announced,
mhm. The
everyone
first
was so
one.
afraid.
The first
Right?
one.
We were so afraid because we were ignorant. We did not know what this virus was all about.
Yes.
But now that we can better understand it, even scientists and doctors all over the world are moving on with their lives with greater confidence that because they know the enemy well, we
Mm-hmm.
can work our way around it and then challenge it and overcome it. But in the first few, especially the first year of the lockdown, everyone was afraid to step out of their homes or
Mm-hmm.
even breathe the air outside the home,
It's
which
everywhere. The virus is just everywhere.
looking back, we were helpless. Helpless because we were told that we have to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Should we really be afraid?
Yeah. Now, because of your advocacy in health, in a healthy lifestyle, did it occur to you that some of your friends seek pieces of advice how to combat and protect themselves from the virus?
You know, I have a lot of friends that in the early days or the early months of the COVID scare, we didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
we were already surrounded by this bug, this virus. So much so that I remember attending a party, and then 2 days later, we had an outreach program for the street children in Intramuros.
Mm-hmm.
And two of the people that attended those two events with me, and I even rode home with them. They drove the car. I was in the car
And you
with
have no
them.
idea they were infected.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
oh, really, I have to share this. What panic and shock and
Mm-hmm.
this sense of despair and helplessness you feel because these two dear friends, they passed away 5 days after our last meeting.
And what did you do when you learned
From
about
the,
it?
from the Delta virus.
Oh.
And of course, I said to myself, the first thing I did was go down on my knees and thank the Lord that it did not affect me nor my family
Mm-hmm.
because I have people living in this house who are at risk,
Mm-hmm.
staying at one of my relatives that stay with me and my brothers and my brother and sister. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just so grateful it did not affect. I was not infected or contaminated,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not contaminate someone else.
And you
So
didn't feel anything?
none, not in the first
Wow.
month.
Your immune system must be very good.
Well, I will share with you my regimen even
Oh,
during
yeah,
that
sure.
time.
Please do.
Okay, eto na. Ready na ba
Uh-huh.
kayo?
Oh.
Ay nako, unang-una, vitamin C,
Mm.
up to 4,000 milligrams a day.
A day? 4,000?
Take it breakfast, lunch, merienda, and dinner, 1,000 milligrams each time.
Okay.
12 to 15 glasses of water a day.
Okay. That I can do. I can master.
Right. Walang tawad yan, walang tawad. Walang deskwento dyan.
Mhm.
12 to 15 glasses of water a day. Number 3, 30 up to 50 milligrams of zinc citrate or zinc sulfate a day.
Oh.
Yeah, most people take only 10 milligrams. I take 50, sometimes 30, sometimes 60. You can take it up to 100 milligrams a day.
No
In the
overdose. No overdose
Right.
regarding that.
No overdosing up to 100 milligrams. In the height of the Delta scare, I was taking 100 milligrams a day
Oh my.
of zinc.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then 5,000 IUs of vitamin D,
Mm-hmm.
the sunshine vitamin.
Sunshine. And you just
Because
go
we're
out early in the morning. You can go out early in
Right.
the morning and have the sunshine.
That's not enough because
Okay.
you know the best time your body absorbs vitamin D is at high noon.
Oh, it's so hot.
Tanghaling
It's bad.
tapat.
Bad to your skin.
Exactly. So who wants to burn their skin?
Uh-huh.
Right. So I took 5,000 IUs of vitamin D,
Mm-hmm.
and then I increased my intake of melatonin.
Mm.
So from 5 milligrams, I took 10 milligrams a day.
Explain the
every night.
melatonin for those who are not so familiar with it.
Melatonin is a natural hormone produced by the body
Mhm.
in order to stimulate or prepare our body for good sleep.
Oh, not a collagen. It's different from collagen.
No, it's not. And
Okay.
it's a hormone. It's a
Mhm.
natural hormone.
Mhm.
And we need good amounts of melatonin in order to sleep well.
Mhm.
We have a decrease in the normal level of melatonin produced by the brain,
Mhm.
then we will have sleepless nights or we will have poor quality sleep.
Okay.
So we know that during sleep time is the time that the body regenerates.
Ah,
And it's also the time the body produces human growth hormones or HGH.
Oh. So
Best way
after melatonin, what's next?
You have to take melatonin so that you have good sleep that will also help the body repair itself.
Mhm.
And studies have shown that melatonin also has an effect on the immune system to
Mhm.
better fight off the COVID-19 or the coronavirus.
Mhm.
Right, so that's melatonin.
Okay.
And then until recently, I found out that you also have to take NAC, which is also an antioxidant. For those who really want to have a full-scale war
Uh-huh.
of protection against the virus, you have to include NAC.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I did. I really fortified myself with all those vitamins, but at the same time, to overcome the effect of stress on the body because of the fear and the uncertainty and the anxiety
Mhm.
that gripped everyone all over the world.
But of course, plus the vaccine injection, right?
But there was no vaccine yet at that time in the first
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So I would suggest for people to have a level of calm through stress management techniques. And the best way is through meditation and prayer time.
Okay. Now, do you think this virus will stay longer? Just curious.
According to many doctors that I interview, not my words, but the words of many doctors that I interview, they expect that this coronavirus to be around for quite some time. But as in the case of the Omicron variant, it was weak.
Yeah.
The only thing with the Omicron is it was highly transmissible, which turned out to be a good thing because in the end, they called it lovingly the best vaccine anyone could ever have is the
Oh,
Omicron.
the Omicron. Oh,
Because it's in some people, it was just like the manifestation of a common cold.
mhm.
Some had like a minor case of flu, and they
Mhm.
didn't know that they had Omicron
Yes. Now, Miss.
until they realized that in a party during the surge before Christmas and up to the first week of January
Mhm.
2022, that was the period where the Omicron was highest.
Yeah.
People had the sniffles, they had cough, they had cold, they
Oh,
had some had mild fever, some had mild flu, some had migraines, and were just feeling lethargic or weak or exhausted.
uh-huh.
After 48 hours, they were all right. They
Mhm.
didn't realize they already had Omicron.
Mhm. Now, recently, as I've mentioned earlier, there's a surge in China on COVID-19 virus and some parts of the world. Now, do you think it will happen here again in our country?
Well, that's what the health experts are saying. They're closely monitoring our cases. So far, our
Mhm.
cases are down to 200 or even less than 200 a day.
Mhm.
So let's keep up the good work.
Yes.
Let's keep it up. But we cannot let down our guard. We
Mhm.
have to
Yeah, of course.
continue to take care of our bodies and boost the immune system.
Mhm. Extra careful.
Oh, kaya kailangan yung panlaban sa karamdaman. Kahit anong
Yes.
klaseng karamdaman, di ba? We
Mhm.
really have to
As
be.
what you've mentioned earlier, all what
Right.
you enumerated,
And
right?
then not only that, we have to eat healthy.
Uh-huh.
Eat a
And
lot
where's
of
the VCO? I didn't hear the VCO.
right. Eat a lot of vegetables. Take your virgin coconut oil
Yes.
or your MCTs, your
Mhm.
medium chain triglycerides from
Mhm.
coconut oil derived,
Mhm. Uh-huh.
and you'll be all right.
Yes, that's good. Now, there's an observation made by some medical experts that because Filipinos now are becoming too complacent on in following the health protocols given by the government, plus the various rallies done everywhere, there is a big chance that a virus surge in the country is inevitable and may happen soon than expected. What is your opinion on this?
Well, if you're going to use the campaign period as the basis
Mhm.
for the violation of all the physical distancing and the wearing of masks,
Yes.
people should have gotten sick by now.
Wow. For the past few weeks
Correct?
already, right?
Right from the time the campaign period started, middle of February,
Mm-hmm.
by March, the cases should have had a surge already,
Mm-hmm.
but there has not been any. So maybe it's because of the summer vacation.
Or the
We don't know.
vaccine? Do you think the vaccine has a big effect on that?
I think the vaccine has helped a lot,
Uh-huh.
but people are, I have be honest with you, people are wary of having their boosters done, although some have had their boosters
I
taken.
haven't done my booster yet.
Neither have I.
Miss Cory, during the early months of the pandemic, mental health has become a big issue, mostly to women. What advice can you give to women suffering from depression and mental health problems?
I, I'm not sure about the exact data, if it came from the World Health Organization or from the US statistics, but
Mhm.
I have been reading that cases of suicide
Mhm.
have increased by 148%, if
Mhm.
we are to believe those figures, but it is an alarming figure if that has been increased because of the pandemic and the effect of the lockdown on people. What does the science tell us? If we're going to base it on statistics and on surveys, the science tells us that lockdowns are not good for mental health, that human beings need human interaction, that we need to see each other, that
Yeah.
we need to laugh together, that
Mhm.
we need to work or study together, that
Uh-huh.
we need to be close to one another.
Mhm.
Human interaction is a vitamin.
Mhm.
And that's the best vitamin against mental disorder or mental illness or
Mhm.
mental problems such as anxiety and depression. So
Now,
if we're going to follow the science, let's just be together.
okay, yeah, but be extra careful. Just be right. Just follow, wear your mask, probably.
Follow the protocols,
Yeah,
but
no.
don't deprive yourself of seeing your family or your loved ones or having that much needed checkup because you're afraid to go to the hospital. And that was the case of in the case of so many people who died of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, because they did not forget, but they were afraid to go to the hospital to have their dialysis or have their chemotherapy
Yes.
or have a checkup for their heart.
They were
So
more afraid of the virus than their own,
than their own
health.
than their own
Health
than their own
problem.
health challenges or
Yes.
medical challenges.
Yes. Now, where will there be a chance that everything will go back to the so-called old normal, where we can
Yes,
freely
I think
talk
we
and
will.
walk?
I believe that we will. I pray that we will. I wish for it to happen.
Of course, we miss the live events
Yeah, we
with
can't.
big
We
crowds.
cannot. And besides, the economy will suffer if we don't allow people to mingle and co-mingle. People need to get out there and to go out there and to get out into the world and make the world move. The economy will only move when people are moving around.
Yes. Did you ever experience any health issue during the pandemic? No.
Actually, I did. I realized I needed cataract surgery.
Yes.
I was so afraid to go to the hospital because that was August 2020, in the height of the Delta.
Oh.
And so I said, how come my eyesight is a little bit blurred? I could still read and see, but I said, why is it a little blurred? It's not the same as before. And then one fine day, I was hit with an eye pain on my right eye. It was so painful. And I said, how can you bear this kind of pain? I had to call
but you didn't have any idea it was already a cataract.
Yeah, but that was not a cataract.
Oh, what was it?
The eye pain was so unbearable. I had to call my doctor friend and he said, what are you waiting for? Go to American Eye Center right now. It's open.
Okay.
I will make sure they attend to you. So I went for a checkup. You know, I have to tell all our friends who are watching right now, if you haven't had your eyes checked yet, please have it checked, especially when you're reached already, if you're 40s or 50s, and urgently if you already hit your 60s, because I didn't know I had glaucoma.
Oh, wow.
Glaucoma in my right eye. And so it's a good thing, according to the doctor. I had the narrow angle closure condition of glaucoma because the other glaucoma condition hits you without warning. It's a good thing I had some eye pain that forced me to see the doctor urgently. And because of that, they were able to save my eyesight. So you can't tell if it's my right eye, but I'm fine. I'm so grateful to the doctors of American Eye Center, Dr. Norman Aquino, Dr. Ellen Lee, and Dr. Cole.
Maybe because you read a lot. That's why it affects your,
No. It's either it's congenital or it's because you're Asian. Most Asian women and men have a tendency to develop glaucoma. So have an eye checkup now. Ngayon din. Huwag na kayong magtubili.
So that's good. So perfect eye, you have a perfect eyesight now.
Thank God. The Lord is good. God is good.
Maybe I'll do that also someday.
That was my major challenge. And the other challenge I had, Mario, this is for all the dieters out there. Sa lahat ng nagda-diet, naku, mag-ingat kayo. I was on intermittent fasting, IF, for about over a year. Now, there's nothing wrong with intermittent fasting. It's very good to resetting the immune system, and it even resets your body clock to look younger when you do your fasting. Intermittent, meaning you will not eat for 13 to 15 hours.
Yes.
The gap.
For one day only, and then you can eat the next day.
Every day, you will do a gap from
Yeah.
your last meal to your next 13 to 15 hours, up to 17 hours. So I got so used to doing IF that Mario, I didn't even know I was hungry. I had no hunger pangs. So I was so used to fasting. And so when people used to say, it's Good Friday, you have to fast, it's the season of Lent, you have to fast. For me, fasting is not a sacrifice. At the time, it was a way of life. It was something I enjoyed.
Yeah, a way of life.
No, but the thing is, Mario, this is a warning and my piece of good advice to all of you who are into IF.
Okay.
Just be careful, because IF is not meant to last more than a year.
A year?
Yes, it's not meant to. Even most doctors will caution you from doing IF if it goes beyond 2 to 3 months.
But how would you know it's already a year? If you're enjoying it, if you're used to it.
Exactly. That's what happened to me. And so one fine day, I was in the salon. I went to a salon. I visited Angelo Justin. And he was talking to me. And then suddenly I fell asleep.
Oh, because?
Because when I woke up, I felt so good. I was so refreshed. I was even dreaming. So I said, oh, how long did I fall asleep? And then
Inside the salon?
Angelo Justin tells me, oh, you were gone for only less than 1 minute, Cory.
Oh, and then you felt you slept for hours.
I felt that I had slept for 8 hours straight, Mario.
Wow, you were recharged.
You know how curious I am about health, how passionate I am about
yes,
health.
of course.
I called up Dr. Kwanang. The famous Dr. Kwanang. I asked him, why did that happen to me? And then he said, well, that happens to many people who lack sleep or whose blood sugar goes so low, they're not aware of it. And the body decides for itself what it has to do. Your body goes down naturally below your head, goes down below the shoulder level when your brain is deprived of oxygen.
Oh, it's dangerous.
And oxygen is carried by the blood. And your blood pressure is good and strong when you have been eating on a regular basis. So if you are hungry, your blood sugar is down, you become hypoglycemic. The brain is deprived. The brain is deprived of oxygen. What does the brain do? It will shut down. So you will sleep so that the brain will say to itself, I need more blood. So the brain that will make your head, go down so that more blood will go to the brain. You see how the human body works. Yes,
so was there a drastic change in your diet after what happened?
So after that, I said I would stop my IF.
Oh.
So I stopped my intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Started to eat regularly, no more fasting. But I realized that it was difficult for me because in the mornings I wouldn't take anything but water or a little bit of vegetable juice like celery juice. But I realized I was losing too much. Mario, I went down. My weight went down to 48 kilos.
What? Gosh, that's not good anymore.
I didn't know. My dress size went down to a size 6 or 5. I think it's between a 4 and a 5. So when I went down to 48 kilos, I said, this cannot be. So I started eating again, and I'm happy to say I'm back to my 57 kilo weight.
Oh, good. That's good. So that's a good advice to all those who are in diet.
Right.
Right?
But you can still maintain a nice fit body by committing yourself to exercise and to eating healthy and to eat everything in moderation. I will not tell you what not to eat, but just eat everything in moderation.
Yes, that's the key word, in moderation.
Right.
Now, let's
Okay.
go political.
All right.
Now, so have you thought or decided who to vote for president and vice president this coming May election? You may not name it.
I'm going to invoke the code of ethics.
Okay. Of course, actually, I will not ask you names, so you will not be canceled with a group called Cancel Culture, unless, of course, you want to share it to us.
Exactly. Because remember, I have a show now on DZRH TV. It's called Kaya Mo Yan. And I co-anchor that with Ricky Alegre every Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. live nationwide.
Okay, that's good.
And I'm happy to announce I joined them in December. And in the last Nielsen survey, which was in February, the show is already #1 in Mega Manila.
Oh, congratulations.
Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga sumusunod at sumusuporta sa Kaya Mo Yan on DZRH with Asek Ricky Alegre. Talagang kaya natin yan.
Now,
what I have to invoke that.
Yeah. What is your opinion? Yes. What is your opinion about this group called Cancel Culture? Which
one? Sorry.
Cancel Culture. This group they call Cancel Culture. If they don't like the people you support for the election, they will just cancel you online.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm a great believer in the freedom of speech,
democracy,
and the freedom of choice. So whatever this cancel culture stands for, I respect your views and your ideals and your standards. That is also your choice. At the same time,
respect your choice too.
Right. I also will appeal to your good sense to also respect my opinion or my decision.
Yeah.
However, I cannot share my political views.
I know.
Because I just started with DZRH, and I'm also connected with the Daily Tribune newspaper, as well as online. I have my online lifestyle and wellness show on Halingang Katribo in Daily Tribune every Wednesday. And I also have my DZRH Kaya Mo Yan every Saturday at 5 p.m.
Now, Miss Cory, being a granddaughter of the late President Cory Quirino, what qualities are you looking for to be our next national leaders?
I know it's a motherhood statement, all right?
Okay,
love your God, love your country, love your people. But we go down to basics, and that's really what the basics are all about: love of country. But you can't love your country if you don't love God. So there has to be a sense of spiritualism, a high sense of spirituality in the leader that will take over this country, or the leaders that will steer our country, our government towards progress. So I would think that someone must be divinely led.
Now,
I also believe that presidents, they're really a matter of the people's choice.
Yes.
As well as destiny.
Destiny, exactly.
Right.
Now, this a little bit, you may or may not answer this. Now, I know you're close to the former First Lady Imelda Marcos and Senator Amy Marcos. Did they ever seek your support?
Did they ever seek my support? No, in all honesty, no. That's the God honest truth. Not one of them has approached me as a member of media to speak favorably on their behalf.
Okay. Now, You are one of the active officers of the group called VACC, the Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption.
Yeah, I'm the
Have you?
chairman of the board, Mario.
Okay. Now, have you talked among yourselves who to support this May election?
Right. VACC is nonpartisan,
Mm-hmm.
and we are an NGO.
Mm-hmm.
So we are committed to serve the people and to serve the victims of crime, the
Mm-hmm.
victims who come to us for assistance. They're mostly the underprivileged sector of society that seek our help, or
Mm-hmm.
people who have become victims of injustice. So we act as a go-between.
Mm-hmm.
We are the bridge between the victim and the government agencies.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, the Department of Justice and whatever departments of government that are involved, depending on the nature of the cases that are brought to our attention.
DILG, I suppose.
LG,
Mm-hmm.
Department of Justice, and the Ombudsman, the Solicitor General,
Uh-huh.
the Philippine National Police, the NBI, the
Mhm.
CIDG. We work closely with all of these government agencies, and that is why it is important for VACC to be non-partisan.
Okay, okay.
So we have to learn to work with whoever is in government, when whoever is in a position of authority, to help our victims who need our assistance.
Yeah.
And that is why we respect the will of the people come May 9, and we are prepared to work with the new leaders that our countrymen are going to vote into office.
I know. Now, Miss
As well as cabinet secretaries of the new dispensation, our new president is going to appoint.
Yeah. Now, as the granddaughter of the late president, were you not invited by any political group to run for the Senate this election?
Well, actually, yes.
What happened?
What happened was, I told the presidential standard bearer that asked me, we had a talk actually,
Okay,
we had a conversation, and then I was asked the question, have you thought about yourself? What are your plans? And I said, yeah, well, I have plans to serve my country. I want to devote the rest of my life, the last 31 years of my life, because I intend to be on this earth until I'm 101.
I love that.
To my last breath.
Uh-huh.
And I intend to stay lucid and strong and productive until the time I go to heaven.
Yes.
But because I want to have a presidential suite in heaven, I want to devote the rest. I'm prepared to devote the rest of my life to public service. So I was asked that question, and that was the answer I gave. So they said, so if you were to run, what positions? I said, I think the best position for me to run would be the position of senator. Only, I said, only if you can help underwrite my campaign. Because normally, traditionally, when senators are asked to join the lineup of a presidential standard bearer during a presidential elections, this was the tradition before. That was the old normal. The presidential standard bearer normally carries the whole team or underwrites the campaign of the senators. But when I got a reply that was uncertain, I said, oh, I am not ready to raise 50 million. They said initially 50 million in 2 weeks. It was just too soon for me because apparently the rules of the game had been changed or have evolved because of this pandemic. It appears that many of the senatorial candidates are left on their own to depend on their own resources or resourcefulness to be in the race. And I, in all honesty, I was not prepared.
Okay. But
so I did not pursue it.
But if in case there's a new leader, national leader, are you willing to work with the government to be appointed a cabinet position?
Yes, I am.
Whoever wins.
through with certainty and commitment.
Okay. Now, you used to be you had a show, an online show as a co-host of Carl Balita, who is running now or eyeing for a senatorial slate, right?
Yes, I had the show Tuesdays with Cory in
Oh,
CBRC TV for about a year.
oh, did he ask your support?
Oh yes, Carl did. He did
Oh,
actually because siyempre Carl and I may pinagsamahan kami because of our DZMM Teleradio days in ABS-CBN. And
mhm,
also because we've done some show co-hosting together in the
mhm,
past in my show.
mhm,
He guested in the show, and he
mhm.
was also very supportive of my advocacies.
Uh-huh.
So yes, he did ask for my help. Just put in a good word or have him interviewed on TV, which we did.
Uh-huh.
And I wish him all the luck. I really wish him all the best on his pursuit for a
So,
senatorial seat.
now, what is your definition of a good leader or a good political national leader?
Ooh, depends on the position. Well,
Okay.
whatever position it will be,
Uh,
I believe that the best quality anyone can have, the best preparedness that one should have for a political post is to
mhm,
be a good public servant. This person must put the people first before any of his own interests, or he should subdue his own personal interests in behalf of
mhm,
the good that he can do in his position to serve the public.
mhm. Have you
I
seen
think
all those qualities in some of our leaders now running for national position?
I believe that many of them are qualified to serve,
Mhm,
but as to how pure their intentions are, we
mhm,
are not privy to that. That's only between them and our God and
mhm,
and the Lord. So we
mhm.
don't know how pure those intentions are. We can only hope and pray that they will serve the best interests of the country and not themselves.
Yeah. Now, last month we celebrated the Women's Month, Miss Kors. What advice can you give to women who experience any form of abuses?
Okay, now this is my forte because remember I was
Yeah,
a
I
civil
know.
1995.
Uh,
So uh, anything that has to do with crimes against women, it makes me angry. Ako ay nagagalit. Umiinit ang ulo ko. Umiinit ang ulo. Kumukulo ang aking dugo when it comes to that. No man, no man, not anyone has the right or the power or the authority to oppress a woman.
Mhm,
And for that, we have ikaw in VACC, Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, ihinto krimen against women.
mhm,
You can run to us.
mhm,
We are here to give you courage, to give you strength, to give you that courage to overcome your fear. Because ito ang katotohanan. Lahat ng mga nagiging biktima ng krimen, lahat ng mga kababaihan naging biktima ng krimen, halos 50% ay umaatras sa kaso dahil sa takot.
mhm,
They feel that they have no power or they will be overpowered by their oppressors and that they have no chance to win a case.
mhm,
You come to us in VACC because we are here to help.
mhm. So
So
this
if there's anything
this
that I
campaign
can
is
do,
a lifetime thing for you. The
exactly,
VATC.
panghabang buhay na po ito.
Uh,
Ito pong pangako ko sa lahat ng mga kababaihan. I am here for you. Do not be afraid. If you pray and read the Bible, you will see that in the Bible, majority of the messages there, the general overriding message of the Bible is do not be afraid. Do not fear. So let us heed the best advice from the golden words of the Bible. Do not be afraid.
Yeah.
If
Now,
you need help from VACC, we are here for you. That's why, Maryo, it is important for us.
any number, any contact number to VACC if there's someone listening right now.
Well, you can call you can actually contact me. You can email me your case or your appeal. You can email me at coryquirino1@yahoo.com. coryquirino1@yahoo.com, or go to Facebook, Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, and then state your case and your appeal and your request for assistance. And we will attend to you immediately.
Now, let's talk about the conflict in Eastern Europe, as we talked about earlier. What is your stand between Ukraine and Russia? Do you think this will be resolved soon, or will it foment the so-called nuclear Third World War?
Everyone fears World War III. Everyone is saying that this is the doomsday. The doomsday signs are here. That the Lord is coming.
Yeah.
Second coming.
Because international media has been talking about this third World War.
And then they keep talking about the predictions of Nostradamus. All right. Now, what do we do as a people? We have to ask ourselves, are we going to get into that mindset or consciousness of war, or work consciously against it? Number one, I believe with the rest of the world, or many parts of the world that are undergoing unrest and war, like between Ukraine and Russia, and how we feel it might escalate towards the Asian region and affect the different allies of Russia. Many of this can be prevented through diplomacy.
Yes.
And I can understand why, because the best way to solve any situation of conflict is through diplomacy.
But they've been talking recently,
which is
4
good.
times.
Which is good. And the rest of us, since we're not involved in that level of influence, we should pray. We should pray for a speedy resolution of the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. That is one. Number two, we should pray for some divine intervention, for miracles to happen, so that the dove of peace can invade the minds and hearts of everyone in the world, because in many parts of the world there's so much conflict.
Exactly.
So we should pray for peace. We should really pray for peace, and that is urgent and imminent.
World peace.
And never stop praying. But together, it teaches us that we are a global community, that what affects one part of the world affects the rest of us. We belong to one family, that family of humanity, the family of mankind. And so we cannot say to ourselves, what's happening in Ukraine, it should not affect us. It will affect us. It should affect us, because it will affect our lives. We don't want the war to escalate. We want a speedy resolution, and a resolution of peace and goodwill to prevail in this world. Number two, we have at the same time to protect our own interests as a country, to protect the sovereignty of the Philippines, and to be more alert and vigilant to any foreign power, towards any aggressive move of any foreign power to usurp our sovereignty. So we have to be aware as a Filipino people that we must be vigilant. We cannot be quiet. We cannot remain silent.
Yes, exactly.
We must fight for our sovereignty, and we must assert ourselves today, now, as a Filipino. If we love our country, we have to speak up.
Definitely.
Number three, we should help our own fellow Filipinos, help them uplift their lives. We cannot say that because the poverty level in this country is rising, we cannot say to ourselves who are a little bit more privileged to say, oh, that's not my problem if someone goes hungry in this country. It is our problem, because they're our family. So what affects them affects us. We have to learn how to share. We have to learn to be more compassionate. We have to have more empathy for our fellow Filipinos, not just here, but also abroad, our fellow Filipino OFWs overseas.
That's well said, Ms. Cory.
this is what is happening. We have to stay together as a nation, as one country, as one people.
Now, Ms. Kors, President Duterte will soon end his presidency. Do you think he has done more good things for the country than bad decisions?
President Duterte's Build, Build, Build has been a great success. And
Peace and order.
Many of the financial experts in the world are predicting a boom in the Philippines, and they're putting us in the same level as Indonesia and Vietnam in the years to come. In short, we are going to be a tiger economy, and Philippines is predicted to become a tiger economy in the next 3 to 5 years. So get ready, Philippines.
Yes.
So what are we saying here? That the Build, Build, Build operation of President Duterte has succeeded. And we will continue to reap the benefits of this for generations to come.
Yes.
So saludo po ako kay President Duterte in that matter. When it comes to the drug war, I'm afraid that the drug situation is still here, and that we will have to continue to fight the drug war together with government agencies. We have to be vigilant as a people, and actually care if we have news or information that will lead to the arrest of some drug lord. Let's be involved. Let's help our government authorities.
And what is your thought of the EJK? Some of his mga enemies, political enemies, are beefing up against him.
Yeah, well, I will read from the memoirs of my grandfather, or at least take some inspiration from the memoirs of my grandfather, former President Cory Quirino, who is considered one of the most maligned presidents of the Philippines. Okay. He was really the victim of so much derision from the public, not just the public, but even media. And in his memoirs, he said, and remember, they tried to impeach him as well. He said, even if the impeachment charges were dropped in Congress, they were dropped because of lack of evidence and no basis. He said in his memoirs, it is as if I was already impeached by the people. Just going through the process already disheartened him. So I will invoke some inspiration from his memoirs. He also said that when you are the higher you go in office, you must be prepared to accept all the slings and arrows of that position, because you're in a position of great visibility. Be prepared for people to throw stones at you. And I'm afraid no president has been spared from that fate. No president. But we will survive, right? Every president has survived.
Of course.
I believe that President Duterte will survive.
And he has a high trust rating in his remaining months?
Trust rating is still very high from the Filipino people. So life will go on.
Yes.
And then we will be able to look back and say that we have benefited from his governance and his style of management. Every president has his own style.
Yes.
So we are looking forward to a new president with his new style of government and governance and style of management and running the government. And the ACC will be there.
Oh, that's good. Now, I need to ask you this, Ms. Cory, because it went viral. This is in relation to a comment made by Tony Gonzaga in one of the sources of the unit team in the province, when she said that BBM, babalik na siya sa kanyang tahanan. Malapit na siyang bumalik sa kanyang tahanan, Malacanang. And then Mocha reacted to that and posted something na hindi niya tahanan ang Malacanang, but with the Filipino people. Being a granddaughter, you've been there, you've stayed there. Was Tony right when she said that? Or was Mocha right when she also said that?
I think that Tony did not mean what she said, according to the interpretation of the public, maybe she was not aware of the impact of her words and how it would influence other people to react, whether positively or negatively, to her comment. I believe that she did not say that with malice. That's for sure.
But
She
are
did
you,
not say
the
that.
word tahanan ba is,
Right.
parang kuan ba yan?
Tahanan.
It's, di ba? Di ba have a different interpretation when we say tahanan?
Exactly, because when you say tahanan, you have a sense of ownership, right? It becomes like you have a sense of ownership towards that place. Well, actually, the palace is the temporary home of a president.
Oh, yes.
For the length of time that he is the president of,
Yes, exactly.
or she is the president of the country,
Mm.
and it should be prepared to leave it when his last days in office are over.
Mm.
So in that sense, though, I feel that Tony did not say that with malice. However, the word tahanan also has an implication of a sense of ownership or belonging.
Oh, yes.
Perhaps she was feeling sentimental or nostalgic about it because BBM has spent
Years.
most of his life growing up inside the palace.
Yes, exactly. So maybe that was the interpretation made by Tony.
Right. So when people ask me if I ever lived in the palace,
Yeah, did you?
Yes, I did. Actually, if you see my birth certificate, it says address, right? And it says Malacanang Palace. That's in my birth certificate. But
so there's nothing wrong when Tony say those words.
Yes, because it's in your birth certificate. And in my case, I was really born in Manila, and my place of residence was where my parents were living, and they were living in Malacanang Palace. So in my birth certificate, it says residence, Malacanang Palace. So
good for you. There were no bashers then.
There was no social media.
Yes. You enjoyed your privacy.
Sa totoo lang, mga kaibigan, even in your birth certificate, when it says where you were born and where you live. So there are many ways of interpreting tahanan. But of course, in a birth certificate, where do you live? Of course, you have to put an address.
Yeah.
So in my birth certificate, it said Malacanang Palace,
so,
which was the truth. So you have to tell the truth. Okay. So in that sense, yes, Malacanang Palace was my home as a baby.
The more if you're the president, right?
When my grandfather was the president.
Yes.
But when his term ended, it no longer became my home.
It stopped to be home.
You know, it's like a two-edged sword. There are many ways of looking at it. I know I can understand how it went viral, but for me, my perspective is different. No, I see myself. I can see both sides.
Okay.
And
your sentiments. Which side?
It was my home for a while, but it just was. It just is. It's a fact.
Yeah.
So Bongbong did grow up. BBM did grow up in Malacanang Palace, and for that reason, that was his home. And so when Tony said babalik na siya sa kanyang tahanan, she said it in a very maybe sentimental or nostalgic way without meaning to
any malice about it.
Ruffle the feathers of other people. Or I feel that she's innocent of that.
Yeah. Now let's go to your favorite topic. Pageantry. The Every National Beauty Pageant search is now active, preparing for their big coronation night. As the National Director of Mutya Pilipinas, what are your plans now?
To tell you the truth, Mutya ng Pilipinas has always been one of the longest running pageants in the country, and the second oldest next to Binibining Pilipinas. And the advocacy of Mutya ng Pilipinas has always been to develop young, aspiring queens from their own respective hometown. And which is why we decided to take on the tagline, Hometown Girl. Right? It's so cute. In fact, my dream is to do a movie, Hometown Girl.
Oh.
Nanawagan po ako
By
sa
starring
mga
Megan
director
Yang.
at producer na sana magkakaroon po tayo, pwede po tayong gumawa ng isang pelikula
Oh.
na isasadula po natin ang buhay ng mga beauty queens na sa umpisa ng kanilang buhay, from the hometown girl to the actual queen who wins an international crown.
The glamour life.
Right, that's my dream, to do a movie. So I'm prepared to work with whichever producer, director that wants to do this. Yan, di ba? Gawin natin project yan, Mario.
Yes, sure. Now, are you start searching for your next hometown girl queen?
Ito, because Mutya ng Pilipinas works very closely with Miss Asia Pacific. Remember once upon a time,
yes,
Mutya ng Pilipinas and Miss Asia Pacific were together. One organization, one or owner. But they decided to split up the organizations.
Since when?
Long time ago already.
Oh,
many years now. Maybe 5 years. Now, the biggest crown or title of Mutya ng Pilipinas is still Miss Asia Pacific.
Asia Pacific.
Now, even if we stage a pageant this year and there is no Miss Asia Pacific, where will our queens compete?
Oh.
Diba? That is going to be our quandary.
But have you not talked to the Miss Asia Pacific group and you work together?
Well, that's the thing. Whichever decision or direction Miss Asia Pacific will take, if we're going to take the stance that our queens will have to compete internationally for that title, then we have no choice but to work with the calendar of Miss Asia Pacific.
Are there talks ongoing now?
Yes, there are. So we are still waiting for official word from Miss Asia Pacific.
So there will be a chance that Mutya, is it Mutya Pilipinas now or Mutya ng Pilipinas?
Okay, I'll explain.
Yes.
Mutya ng Pilipinas remains the legal name of Mutya ng Pilipinas. We are registered as Mutya ng Pilipinas. The only reason why we dropped the nang for convenience sake, because it's so much easier to just say Mutya Pilipinas.
Okay. So that was the main reason, for convenience, not because...
Yes, it's like a nickname. So parang palayaw, parang nickname lang yun. But legally, our legal name is Mutya ng Pilipinas.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason why I did that was because everywhere we go, even if it is the policeman or the traffic officer or the cashier in SM, they will always say, "Ma'am, ang gaganda ng mga mutya nyo."
Okay.
So, mutya has become already an accepted term for a beauty queen. And that's why I decided, why don't we just be known also as Mutya Pilipinas, so that we can take on all the different nicknames they give us, from Mutya to Mutya Pilipinas to Mutya ng Pilipinas. Inaangkin namin lahat yun.
Oh, good. So there's no problem with that.
Wala. You can call us.
I thought there's a legal thing.
No, we did not change our legal name, which is Mutya ng Pilipinas. That will stay.
So are you starting to, even without Miss Asia Pacific, Mutya will not push through? Is that what you mean?
That is going to be the challenge for us, and we should be able to answer that question more definitively in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. So please inform us right away.
More reason for me to come back and give you
and invite us during the announcement.
So if we proceed with Mutya ng Pilipinas, we can either proceed without Miss Asia Pacific and just remain a national pageant without sending our queens for competition abroad. But
you
we
have the
cannot be
model. What's in the model competition?
top model of the world.
Model of the world.
Yeah, or world top model. We have those two. But this year, we have not renewed with any of those two so
Oh,
far. So far.
okay. But just curious, what if Julia, Miss Julia of Miss World will offer you again the franchise of Miss World? Are you really?
I have every
Julia
respect.
Morley, I mean Julia Morley.
Well, I have every respect for the new national director of the organization. So I may probably not be able to answer that question because I don't want to.
Did I put
I
you on
don't
the
want to be
spot?
presumptuous
Sorry.
enough to say that that such an conversation will take place, or even an imaginary wish list of Maryo Labad. I know. I have to be honest. A lot of people approach me and even ask me on Instagram in full view of the public. You know, they make comments and they ask me to go back.
Yes, of
And
course.
it is not my decision or within my power or authority to please the wish list of Maryo Labad or
Because
the other
Miss World used to be part of the Mutyan ng Pilipinas, right?
I
There
will
was a
say,
time.
yes, that is actually true. They did hold that license for quite some time, and then it was transferred to another organization, right?
Yes.
Until it became independent during my term. When I was for 6 years that I managed it, I was able to launch it as a single, detached, independent pageant.
Yes, and
I'm so happy
congratulations for that. And congratulations with Megan Young as our only Miss World winner.
Right. As I said, that's also destiny, right?
Yes.
The only wish I had when that license was offered to me, my only target and goal, and I was single-minded in that pursuit of that goal. You know, Mario, you were there when I first started. I called you.
Yes, and
You
thank you for that, Miss Cory.
You helped me with the press conference and get a lot of past winners.
Announcement, the big announcement.
And I am grateful to you for all the help you have extended to me. Remember, I was a pageant newbie. I remember I was also being bashed, no? Given to me. And somebody asked me, don't you read what people are saying about you, that you are not capable of running this pageant because you have no experience?
Yes.
And you know what I said? Oh, really? I don't want to hear or know about what they say about me or my capabilities. I know what I'm capable of doing, and I know I am single-minded in my pursuit of the crown.
Yeah, and you were successful with that.
That's what I said. I don't want to be distracted by any negative comments, but people are entitled to their own opinion. Whatever their opinion is their truth, and I respect them for that. But let them not get in the way of my goal, which is to win the crown for the Filipino people.
Yes.
That's exactly what I did.
And mind you, all your girls that time were really doing well during the
Everyone placed.
Yes.
I'm so proud of that batch.
That's why I'm asking you, what if it will be offered back to you? But anyway, I know you don't want to answer that.
I never thought about, but who knows, right? Who knows? Nobody really knows what will happen the next day.
Exactly.
So life goes on.
Cross our fingers.
Mario, you know why? Someone asked me, why did you accept Mutya ng Pilipinas?
I asked you that too.
They said, it's not an international pageant. I said, yes. But you know what? handling Mutya ng Pilipinas is all the more fulfilling for me as a woman.
Mhm.
Then they asked me why. Because it's so fascinating and thrilling to be able to discover a hometown girl who's been praying to be discovered in her hometown,
Yeah, exactly.
who is,
Ah,
has been praying to be given a break in life.
mhm, mhm.
That is what gives me that sense of fulfillment. It's the drive. It is my
Yes,
motivation.
yes.
It is what
Your
motivates me.
passion.
And motivation, because it's what motivates me to
Mhm.
help our kababaihan all over the Philippines whose dream it is to become a beauty queen.
Those who have no
And the
chance
first
to
step,
come to Manila,
always,
right?
the first step
Uh-huh.
is Mutya ng Pilipinas. And that is what gives me that sense of fulfillment. That, hey, I was able to influence this young lady's life. And I was able to mold her into a lady, a proper lady with the proper social graces
Mhm.
to be able to win the crown.
Mhm. Now,
So
Miss Course, yeah, go on.
that is what gives me that sense of fulfillment.
Fulfillment. Now, do you think it is safe now to mount a live beauty pageant with live audience?
I think it's safe enough if you follow the protocols.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is safe. If you follow the protocols, you'll be all right. Because
Mm-hmm.
Miss Universe Philippines was able to do it without any difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
all the
what
other
happened to Miss World DC? Yeah, did they? It was postponed. It was canceled.
correct. So the risk will always be there, Mario.
Yeah,
So we
the
have
risk.
to be aware of that risk
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to work with health authorities to
Mm-hmm.
be able to protect the interests of our candidates. Because when you are managing a pageant, whether it's local or international,
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens to the candidate, you're responsible for.
Yeah, exactly. The
So imagine how
organization.
great that responsibility is.
Yeah.
We take
Huge
that seriously.
responsibility.
It's
Yeah.
our responsibility, it's command responsibility, and we have to do everything we can to
Mm-hmm.
protect and safeguard the health of every candidate.
Welfare of every candidate. Yeah. Now,
So yes, we
yeah.
can do face-to-face pageant. I don't see any problem if we follow the usual safety and health protocol.
Yes. Okay. Now, what is your opinion on beauty queens who are very vocal supporting politicians in the election?
Hmm. If they are not under contract with the organization,
That
whether
I'm
local or international, they are
that I'm not
free
so
to,
sure about it.
or if they are not tied down to any contract any with any legal entity
Mm-hmm.
or any legal organization, or let's say those who have endorsement contracts, there is always a clause in that contract.
Uh-huh.
You cannot get involved in any political organization or show your political leaning. There
Mm-hmm.
are many sponsors who are very sensitive to that
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
brand sensitive.
Uh-huh.
You
Mm-hmm.
give your political opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and they can share that opinion with as many people as they want to, for as long as they're mindful of all their contractual obligations to
Mm-hmm.
their sponsors or to their clients.
Mm-hmm. Now,
But as far as a live contract with a beauty pageant organization, uh, I personally would not allow it.
why?
Well, for me, a beauty pageant organization has to learn to work with whatever
Organizers.
dispensation
Mm-hmm.
is present in that country. So if we show our political color or leanings to one party, and then what happens if the next party wins?
Mm-hmm.
And they will remember that you have given a color to your organization.
Mm.
And for me, I think beauty pageants should transcend all of that and should rise above any kind of political leanings or pronouncements.
Now, on that note, any message to our supporters and your supporters and our viewers? I know you're very busy.
No, actually, I'd love to be busier. Now I want to do that movie.
Yeah, that movie. I will remember that always.
Okay.
Any message?
Nananawagan talaga ako sa mga interesadong maging producer ng Homecommer. I really want to do that movie as a source of inspiration to all young women. And the message to all young women is, yes, you can become a beauty queen, no matter what your station in life is. You know, I have handled many candidates in the past who came from very humble beginnings and have been able to transcend all their shortcomings and have shown such interest, such commitment, such sincerity to developing themselves that they have done it with such success and with such pride. I'm very proud of them. I cannot say who they are, but they have reached such heights in the organization. And not just to have a crown on their head. Every beauty queen, no matter what beauty pageant organization it might be, every beauty queen has a role in her organization and also her role as a beauty queen, a symbol of that organization. She is a symbol, not just of a woman who has won a crown. You have to go beyond the crown because she becomes a beauty queen who will represent womanhood, the womanhood of her country, the women of her country, who will imbue other women and inspire other women to have the values and the qualities that it will take for them to become a winner. The message really here is every beauty queen is a symbol of success. She's a symbol of victory over shortcomings. She's a symbol of victory, of triumph over failure, because many have tried and failed and then in the end won. So she is also a symbol of possibilities, of endless possibilities for every woman who wants to dream, who can dream. In short, to the women of the Philippines, continue to dream because dreams do come true.
And in 2 weeks, watch out for the big announcement from Miss Cory Quirino. On that note, Miss Cory, thank you very much.
Oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Cory Quirino for health and wellness tips. At the same time, I'm not sure yet about my Facebook. I want to make my Facebook go public already. So
that's good. That's very good.
And I want to, because people are saying I have to be more reachable. So okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the steps to do that. But I have other bigger dreams. You know, I've done a lot of work with advocacy work for the street children with Father Rocky Evangelista of Tuloy Foundation, with the Red Cross of Muntinlupa, with the PGH Medical Foundation as a director. And so as you can see that there's so much that one can do with one's life and the time that is given to us on this earth to do good. So just do good, use your life because your life is valuable and it has meaning and it has purpose. So that's really my message to all of you and share my dream with me. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and watch Kaya Mo Yan.
Kaya Mo Yan on programs and your
every Saturday, right? Every Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. Kaya Mo Yan on DZRH TV. And then column on Daily Tribute on wellness every and Kalingang Tribu Daily Tribune is a live FB show and YouTube every Wednesday, 3:30 to 4 p.m. every Wednesday. So there's so much more that I can do.
Very busy.
There's so much more that I can do, and God willing, we will do it together.
Okay.
God bless you, everyone, and never give up. Hold on to that dream.
Yes.
Bye,
Thank
Maryo.
you.
God
Thank you. Thank you. And bye-bye. Good luck to your future endeavors. Once again, Miss Cory Quirino, and I hope to see you soon. Now, friends, thank you very much for watching our show tonight. But before we go, I would like to thank some friends. First, to our producer for this trust and support, Secretary Bernie Cruz of the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, and to Direct Kiko Soto and his assistant Toffee, and to our makeup artist, Letlet David, for making us look good and calm always. And to Tita Leda Peña Wallen and his sons, the Barbers Brothers, Earl, Cupid, Nino, and Rainier, and to a good friend of mine, Arthur Cattivo. Welcome home. He's based in Italy and now in the country for the much-needed vacation. And to Attorney Lucy Labad Bernardo, welcome home, my dear cousin. She's based in Australia. And happy birthday to our dear Tita Patlan Zar Labad of Malalag, Davao del Sur on April 29. She's celebrating her 90th birthday. And congratulations to Police Officer Roland Anthony Labad Cuevas for passing the recent bar exam, a new lawyer in the clan. Till next week as we bring you more celebrity chit-chat only here on Celebrity Corner, the FB Live edition. Till then, bye-bye. Maayong gabi sa inyong tanan.